Hey, what is up, immortals? It is Hazel here with a new video for you. In this video, we'll dive into Hamon from the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure anime. I just wanted to greet you guys by saying, just sit back and relax. You're in for a treat. So let's get started. Hamon, or Ripple Energy, was the first powered combat technique in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure introduced in the 4th episode of Phantom Blood. Described as a method of controlled breathing that harnesses natural sun-like energy in the body, Hamon was portrayed as a way to defeat vampires, namely Dio Brando, and other supernatural beings whose power the ripple could negate. Hamon can be seen by regular humans and manifests itself either as golden sparks or streaks of light. In fact, unlike stands, anyone can technically produce Hamon, but considering the discipline it takes to properly channel Hamon energy, only about 1 in 10,000 people are able to practically use it. Hamon can be used on both living and non-living targets and is best conducted by liquids, on which it creates a signature ripple pattern. Although generally used as a type of offense in battle, ripple energy can be used to mend wounds and exerted through fingertips to cling to surfaces. Hamon was used primarily across parts 1 and 2 before being replaced in Stardust Crusaders by stands. The powers Hamon encompasses, though, can be somewhat difficult to define. Across JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Hamon users are seen using the ripple to complete a variety of actions. Anything from shooting spaghetti out of a fork to seeing the future. There seem to be limitless uses for Hamon. For example, Hamon use can be targeted. This means that when Hamon is used on a living organism, the user can decide whether or not its ripple harms the creature it is used on. It either simply passes through the body or betters it. When first introduced in Phantom Blood, Hamon is used to punch a frog on a stone. As the rock splits in two from the mighty strike, the frog swims casually away, unharmed despite taking the blunt of the blow. In this instance, the stone was targeted. As a living being, the frog was ignored by the Hamon user and was therefore reduced to being a mere pathway for the energy to travel through. Hamon is similarly seen to have healing properties. Although not used nor mentioned often throughout the series, the ripple has demonstrated an ability to mend broken bones and similar wounds. Curiously, these healing properties appear to extend beyond Hamon users in terms of usage and be called upon to assist people who are not proficient in the ripple. Perhaps the most intriguing aspect of Hamon is its property of inheritance. The ripple can be transferred from one person to another, although it is not confirmed whether non-Hamon users can inherit the energy of Hamon users. Unlike Hamon's ability to heal wounds, this trait of ripple energy is used repeatedly in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure and directly happens twice to the protagonist of the series. Ripple energy is notable for the vitality it brings to its users. When mastered, Hamon flows tends to increase in the body and circulates in a fashion similar to blood. This abundance of Hamon incredibly preserves the youthful appearance of its user, keeping them vivacious and beautiful in old age. However, this keeping of appearances has its limits and will not fully stop the aging process. Clairvoyance is another factor of Hamon that comes into play numerous times throughout the course of the plot. Similarly to Hamon's ability to keep Ripple Masters looking young, Ripple Energy can provide users with the limited clairvoyant capacities. These abilities can range anywhere from fully being able to predict the future to simply detecting unseen danger when it arises. But how did Hamon work its way into the Joestar bloodline? Sure, anybody can have Hamon, but how did 2 generations of muscular, troubled teens somehow wind up learning how to use it? Well, for that, we can thank Will Zeppeli, Jonathan Joestar's personal Hamon trainer. Hailing from Italy, Zeppeli is a former archaeologist whose friends and father died in the excavation of Dio's stone mask. Horrified by the evils the stone mask possessed, Zeppeli vowed revenge, traveling the world in search of a way to destroy it once and for all. On this bizarre adventure, Will Zeppeli came across Tonpetti, an older man who possessed incredible Hamon prowess. Training Zeppeli in the way of the ripple, he cautioned his student that although his Hamon education would guarantee the destruction of the stone mask, it would seal Zeppeli's gruesome fate. Zeppeli disregarded Tonpetti's warning and continued to master Hamon with his guidance. Upon hearing that Jonathan Joestar bested Dio, then a holder of the stone mask, in a brawl, Will Zeppeli went to meet him, healing Jonathan's broken arm through Hamon. His interest piqued. Zeppeli volunteered to mentor Jonathan just as Tonpetti had once mentored him, teaching his new people how to master the ripple. This gave Jonathan a new and robust weapon against the vampiric powers of Dio Brando. evening the playing field and forever changing the future of the Joestar bloodline. After Jonathan Joestar's death, Joseph Joestar, Jonathan's grandson and the best JoJo, took up the torch and became a Hamon user. Although not taught the way of the Ripple by Will Zeppeli, Joseph did meet and eventually befriend Cesar Zeppeli, Will's grandson. Caesar introduced Joseph to his teacher Lisa, a Ripple master and holder of the Hamon-enhancing redstone of Aja. Joseph Joestar was born a natural Hamon user, hardy, calm under pressure, and incredibly strong-willed. Hamon users pass down Ripple channeling abilities in their family lines. And considering the adeptness of Jonathan Joestar's Ripple skills, Joseph Joestar inherited a great deal of Hamon power. But even with his given talents, Joseph struggled under Lisa's brutal teaching methods, wearing a suffocating mask to train his breathing and climbing the infamous Hell Climb pillar. A pillar doused in oil that requires expert Hamon use to ascend. After Battle Tendency, Part 2 of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and, with Joseph's Ripple proficiency, a genuine love letter to Hamon, Ripple energy fizzled out. Instead, protagonists of Joestar Bloodline started using stands, spirit-like entities with a myriad of unique abilities and appearances. Why? JoJo's Bizarre Adventures creator Araki Hirohiko admitted in a JoJo Menon interview that he stopped writing Hamon-powered characters for a number of reasons, but primarily because his editor advised against it. Hamon was beginning to grow stale. Readers wanted something with more flexibility in combat. Sure, Ripple battles were cool, but martial fighting styles paled in comparison to the superpowered spectacles that other shonen anime provided. However, this did not mark the total end of the Ripple. Hamon continued to make small appearances in parts 3 and 4 by reference and in minor combat before making a more significant comeback in part 7, Steel Ball Run, which, unfortunately, has yet to be adapted into anime. This video is sponsored by NordVPN. Staying safe online is an ever-growing difficulty, and hackers could exploit you. NordVPN allows you to change your IP address, making you harder to track, securing your privacy. In addition to providing you with safe passage through the web, you can also expand the reach of your favorite streaming services. Are you tired of going through 2, 3, or even 4 streaming services to watch your favorite anime? Well, with NordVPN, you can change your country and be able to binge shows like My Hero Academia, Naruto, and many others on your favorite streaming service with just a press of a button. Check out the link in the description to get 72% off when buying for 2 years, $3.29 a month. This deal is for a limited time. And thank you to NordVPN for sponsoring this video. So, Hamon got old. That doesn't mean that it wasn't used in creative ways. The Ripple is often commended as an exciting aspect of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure because it was used in manners that heavily varied user to user. Although it was more restrictive than stands to write into characters, the possibilities with Hamon were near endless, especially in terms of how Hamon energy was used in objects. While Will Zeppeli and Jonathan Joestar stuck to using the Ripple through mostly hand-to-hand combat, the cast of Battle Tendency brought some creativity to Hamon channeling process. Joseph Joestar, for example, instilled a pair of clackers with Ripple energy, bludgeoning his enemies with the literal power of the sun. Lisa followed suit, but instead used her clothes to conduct Hamon. By wrapping foes in her signature scarf, Lisa could send a pulse of energy through its fibers, creating a deadly web for any and all vampires that stood in her way. Cesar Zeppeli perhaps had the most unique way of using Hamon. Instead of using accessories or weapons to use the Ripple, Cesar found a way to infuse soap bubbles with Hamon, creating floating energy discs. These bubbles could also refract light, making them the perfect tool for killing vampires. Hamon also brought signature battle moves into play. Like most shonen anime, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure made good use of special attacks in its earlier parts. These allowed not only for easily identifiable tendencies certain Hamon users had in combat, but also for displaying many creative ways the Ripple could be used. One of the most notable Hamon techniques comes after Joseph Joestar. As I've already mentioned, Joseph channeled his Hamon through a pair of hardy clackers. In a special attack, aptly titled Hamon Clacker Volley, Joseph charges his clackers with Ripple energy. Then, spinning them at immense speeds, the attack enters either one of 2 variations. The clackers are either thrown boomerang style at the attackers, or bashed into the enemy with a downward swing. However, the Hamon Clacker Volley attack is only second to Joseph Joestar's first and foremost secret weapon, running away. Another popular Hamon-powered special move comes from Jonathan Joestar in Part 1. Although he lacked a memorable weapon or any specific item to channel his Hamon through for the majority of Phantom Blood, Jonathan still found a way to conquer his opponents through ripple energy with his Sunlight Yellow Overdrive attack. This technique is highly visual, requiring the user to pull all of his or her Hamon into their fist in a bright yellow flame. Then, once the ripple energy has fully materialized in their hands, the user unleashes a Fist of the North Star styled barrage of punches on their enemy, beating them until they yield. Will Zeppeli also had his own special Hamon attack in Phantom Blood, the often forgotten Hamon Cutter. Despite Zeppeli generally favoring physical combat over other ways of channeling the ripple, in this technique he enhances his form with wine. First he takes a sip of wine, generally a red variation, and holds it in his mouth, drawing Hamon from his body. Once enough energy has been pulled, Zeppeli will spit out his mouthful of wine in combination with the ripple, creating dagger-like icicles of wine that impale his opponents. I'd say that Will Zeppeli would make a great wine tester, but I'm not sure if any actually tasting would get done. Remember when I said that Hamon was still mentioned in Part 3? And remember when I said that Joseph Joestar is the best JoJo? Well, although it's admittedly just my opinion, Joseph Joestar was one of the only JoJos to be both a stand and Hamon user, and often combine both of these abilities in combat. That's right, Hamon isn't only channeled through tangible objects, but also through stands. As we see in Stardust Crusaders, Hamon, when wielded by a proficient user, can be extended through stands, meaning that Hamon's use sometimes lies beyond physical boundaries. Hamon is also an integral part of the Joestar family tapestry. Although Jonathan was unable to defeat Dio with it, and although it was eventually phased out of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure as a whole in their later parts, without Hamon, who knows what would have become of Jonathan's legacy. Had it not been for the ripple, Joseph Joestar would never have conquered Kars and the Pillarmen, nor would Jonathan have been able to weaken Dio. Even notable side character Robert E.O. Speedwagon wouldn't have been part of JoJo's story if not for the use of Hamon, taking away all the future help he would have given to future protagonists through his Speedwagon foundation. The same stands from the viewpoint of production. Hamon didn't stay for long, but it assisted JoJo's Bizarre Adventure in finding its identity as a series. It was a stepping stone for the development of stands, and even if it grew stale, it brought in enough attention to make JoJo's Bizarre Adventure popular, eventually turning it into the widely successful anime it is today. Overall, Hamon is interesting. It can be used as a way to heal a fallen ally, fight off vampires, turn a fashion accessory deadly, and, in Tom Petty's case, even read the future. Unlike stands, Hamon is more accessible to the general population, albeit a little more selective in nature, and can be seen when manifested. It might have been abandoned in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, but in the hearts of its fans, the ripple lives on. Thank you all for indulging yourselves in all this information thus far. I hope you enjoyed it. Now, there are a few more things that I'd like to go over before the video ends. Firstly, if you're in the mood for some great storytelling, We the Celestials have got you covered. Our We the Celestials, My Hero Academia, and Naruto What If channels retell the story of their namesake anime, with a twist. Check it out if you're interested. Secondly, on behalf of We the Celestials, I'd like to thank everyone involved in the production of today's awesome content. Their details can be found in the description below. Lastly, if you're interested in what we do here at We the Celestials, then I'd like to extend you an invitation to join the team. The only caveat being that we only accept members from 16 years and up to join our crew. You can sign up for whichever category fulfills your interest by joining the recruitment Discord using the link in the description below. We're always looking for members to join us. Well, that's it from us for today's video. So thank you all for watching, and have a great day.